So more news is coming out in regards to Sentebale, the charity that Harry has stepped down from, and it's not looking good. So they're under investigation as it is, but more information is now coming out. So I'm going to be delving into this and using my professional knowledge as a UK therapist, and also giving you some of my personal opinions as well, because believe it or not, I am not a therapist 24/7. So if you want to understand body language, behavior, not just what's being said, but also reading between the lines of what's not being said, where I use those tips and tools to help you navigate what might be going on around you, using celebrity behavior to do that. So if this is the channel for you, then please don't forget to hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel, because it does help the algorithm and tells YouTube that I'm a channel worth keeping. Drop a comment, because I always love to engage and understand your thought process. So grab your drink, whatever you're relaxing with today, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy this video. So let's dive right in. So the more things come out in regards to the Sentebale charity, the more things that come out about Harry and Meghan, in my opinion, they track with the things that I have been saying for a long time, the things that a lot of you also agree with and have stated, whether it be on another YouTube channel or whatever it is on social media, or even in the comments. And so this person who has spoken out is connected to, obviously, the charity, that they're quite high up. And I will put the article up here so you can read that for yourself, because as you know, I do like to show you where I've got this information from or how I've come to that decision, showing you my thought process. So what they're stating in this article is the fact that Harry lost interest with Sentebale when he married Meghan. Now, I'm sure that we are going to see over the next couple of days, perhaps, Harry refuting this, talking about how Meghan's wonderful and this has nothing to do with her, and he's so devastated because of the connection with his mum, etc., etc. And before I say anything else, I want to say that I was deeply empathic when it comes to Harry and William losing their mother at a young age. I was one of the people that saw the funeral, watched them walking behind the coffin, and I cannot even begin to imagine how sharing such a death of such a loved one so publicly. So I just want to add that in, because anything that I say is never going against how Harry or William or anyone connected to Princess Diana could have felt in that moment. But Harry was 13, around 13 at the time. He was either 13 or was he just before being 13? I can't remember. William obviously was older. I think was he 50? Is he 2 years older than Harry? He's 15 when he lost his mother. And we all know that William, you know, we've seen and heard a lot of the things along the way, that William was very much a confidant for Princess Diana, that she leaned on William an awful lot. And personally, I actually do understand it, because I've heard this a lot in the years I've been working. Is it right? No. It happens though. And when you have a parent who's needy, which I feel Princess Diana was, and I'm not going to sort of go into that because she had her own problems. Was she perfect? No, but then nobody is. But I do feel that she has been sort of put on a pedestal. She was flawed, like so many of us. But people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that she had issues, that she sometimes behaved in a way that was not okay. And I get that and I understand it. But I think that's what, if I'm honest, I think that's what Harry's capitalizing on. because William has done the respectful thing. He does not discuss his mother unless it is in reference to Mother's Day, where he puts out a little something, and also his children do as well. And I think it's a little nod to his mum. It's like, you know, you're not forgotten. That's the right way to do it. However, Harry has gone from being this way to, since becoming with Meghan, has completely done a 180 and now talks about his mother whenever it's a chance to get sympathy for it. And this is what he's doing with Sentebale. And that angers me more than anything else when you're using the death of a loved one, because there are so many of us who lost loved ones in the lockdowns and they weren't able to be with their loved one. There was, you know, there's so much loss in the world, and people have not had the luxury of having a therapist, say, on standby or whatever it is, and having a huge supportive family and friends, which Harry did have at the time. William also dealt with that the same way, but also he was older, so he had the, I'm now potentially looking after my father, and I'm now looking after my brother, making sure he doesn't go off the rails. And so he had a lot of responsibility for a young 15-year-old. I've spoken to many people in my line of work that have gone through a horrendous upbringing, but they've turned things around, because at some point you stop blaming your parents, you stop blaming the situation that happened to you, because there's nothing you can do to change it. It has got you to where you are. But if you keep living in the past, if you keep going round and round and ruminating, all that does is hurt you. So eventually what you want to be able to do is get to a place where you're able to talk and be able to heal and come out the other side of that, to be able to move on and have and be the best version of yourself and have a healthier life, which in my opinion is what William has done. Harry, in all fairness, just from looking on the outside looking in, has not. Harry has spoken to therapists, but he's so invested in being a victim, so invested in everyone else being at fault, that he's never going to learn and change and grow and heal, because he's got no self-actualization. He's not introspective. And because of that, this is where we're at now. At 40 years of age, he's still doing the same type of things, albeit he got away with it when he was younger because the royal family protected him. He got away with it because he was that young, cheeky, chappy prince that everyone was like, oh, it's just Harry, it's okay. But now at 40, it's not funny anymore. You know, it's not cute, it's not funny, and you're not likable. And I think this whole thing with Sentebale is that he's come out and again used his mother, because this was the reasoning behind wanting to get involved and starting this charity with the help of his family. Let's not forget that, because I know the media love to say how much that Harry started Invictus or Harry started Sentebale. It's with his family support and family money. So, but anyway, I think that there's a part of Harry that sees things momentarily and thinks that's a great idea. The problem you have with a type of personality that Harry is that he doesn't want to put the work in. So he's great at coming up with these fantastical ideas of what we can do to help somebody, but then he just wants to leave it. It's like he's happy to turn up every now and again and do his thing, where I imagine with the structure of the royal family, they were like, you've got to be seen, you know, you're running this. It's like, you've got to turn up. And I think they pushed him to work. They pushed him to do things. They tried things to keep him out of trouble. I mean, let's be honest, that was why they sent him into the army, in my opinion, because he was so out of control, going off the rails. They needed something to keep him busy. And this whole thing, which frustrates me as well, is this constantly, you know, well, you know, I was on the front lines and I did this and I did that. No, you didn't, Harry. No, you didn't. You know, I've spoken to, and if you haven't seen my video where I actually spoke to somebody who worked and trained Harry as a helicopter Apache pilot, and said that he did not pass. He spoke about the fact that there was just so much going on around Harry at the time that he was never in any danger. The things that we saw in the media were photo ops that we saw when he was looking like he was on the front lines. It was literally like a photo op. He was doing a training day where he was holding a rifle, and so they snapped the picture and was like Harry on the front lines, and it was never disreputed because people just went along with it. And so of course this whole thing of, yeah, Harry was a pilot and he went into the work. No, he didn't. He was not how it's portrayed. Again, how it's portrayed in the media. the royal family are partly to blame for this, in my opinion, because they've allowed this person to lie and to manipulate, to, they allowed him to get his wings, even though he didn't earn them. Because for fear of him kicking off, for fear of him going off the rails again, they tried to protect him so much that what they did is they coddled him. They allowed him to not own up to the things that he was doing. The fact that Harry wasn't bothered about Sentebale does not surprise me in any shape or form. I think it's great that somebody's actually speaking out about it. Again, not coddling him, which is what Harry hates. Harry misses, and this is why I go back to the court case, Harry misses being protected. He wants his cake and eat it, basically. He wants to have the fun life in America, where he's, whatever it is that he's doing, living the high life with zero responsibilities, and it bothers him so much that he's not protected. He knows that in America people could find out things and it could get printed. I truly feel, and I will say this is my opinion allegedly, that most of the reason why Harry and Meghan are getting away with things, not all, but most of the reason is because they are still under the umbrella of the royal family. And I believe, and this is political, that I think the politics of it is that they don't want to go against the royal family, so they're not. This is why Harry wasn't removed, the whole visa thing, because there's politics at play here, in my opinion. If they were just Harry and Meghan and all the titles had been removed and everything else, I think that things would be very, very different. And this is why she is being allowed to do what she's doing. But when it comes to Sentebale, I think you're now having these people who are going, Dr. Sophie, she was very brave, in my opinion, in speaking out against the behaviour of Harry. And I think it's like a boys' club. Well, I've seen in the comments, where not in the comments on my channel, but others, like, yes, but how come all of these people left? And it can't be all of them. Yes, it can. Yes, it can, because it's like this club together. And if she is somebody that's very strong and she's not being moved, she's somebody that's like, no, I care about my country, I care about this organization, I care about this charity, I care about the people, and these people are in it for a tax dodge, or for money, or whatever it is, because bearing in mind that she's in this position voluntarily. So this tells me that because she's not willing to budge, she's not willing to play the game of backhanders and things like that. Yeah, that's why they've all left, because I think that's what Harry's doing. I think he's using, and again, this is my opinion, I believe he's using these charities, and I'm going to add Invictus in there as well, to for money. And I think Merchywell is the same, hence why it's in Delaware. I think it's a tax dodge. I think it's shady, and I think they all need to be investigated. And now Sentebale is being investigated. And of course, we've had Harry going, oh, I'm so glad it's being investigated. No, you're not, Harry. No, you're not. I think that things are possibly going to come to light. But now we have this, saying that Harry, he's not bothered. He wasn't bothered. As soon as he married Meghan, he lost interest. So he's sort of play acting with these charities and going, I'll keep myself busy and I'll turn up. And I think, again, it was a way for him to go on holiday, because we know how much he loved Africa. So it was like, I'll kill two birds with one stone. And again, it's positive press. And I imagine his family were kind of like, Harry, come on, you can't be seen just out and about partying all the time. You've got to be doing something. So, go off to Africa. And I do think he has moments when he likes being around the kids, etc. But like I say, it's in short bursts. Harry doesn't want to commit, and he doesn't want to work. He has a lazy mentality. Meghan is exactly the same. They want all of the money, all of the rewards, but they don't want to work and earn it. Whereas when you see the other royals, they work. They put the hours in. Harry and Meghan don't. They show up, they do a photo op, and then they're gone, and then it's done. And this is what Meghan has always done. When we've seen her, and people say, oh, she's such a humanitarian. No, she isn't. She lied to get the holiday in Malta. She's lied to get the one in Nigeria. She's not 43% Nigerian. What even is that? You know, all these lies that are being told to get where she wants. And then this Colombia win, which I think is incredibly suspicious. And I have said before that something doesn't ring right to me with this Colombia visit, but something in my spidey senses is kind of going off when it comes to Colombia, and I do wonder if it is down to adopting a child. And if you want me to do another video on the children, because I've done lots of videos on them, but if you're new here and you don't really know what my thought process is and what I'm talking about, if you want me to do a video on that as a recap, I will happily do that. So yeah, so I do think that with Sentebale with being investigated, but I think this shows you that he is just not bothered. And this is who he is. This is the reality we have now. Harry is not a nice person. He does not care about people. He cares about himself. He will have momentary lapses where he might look like he cares, but that will be short-lived. And he will say things like the example of, I'm going to look after this little girl that had been severely poorly treated. And he was going to make sure she went to school and stuff. What happened? Nothing. And I believe from what I last heard is that she's in a terrible situation. He could have followed that up and done something with his clout and everything else that he had back then. He could have really helped her, and he did nothing. And again, I'm going to say this, the Barker people, and again, nothing. This couple who were so frequently able to put out these pieces refuting and saying, oh, this isn't true and that's not true, and I'm so upset and I'm so devastated people think this about me, and yet nothing was said and done about the Barker people. Nothing. You're telling me you couldn't have said or done something and walked away from that one, even if you'd have said, I tried to do something and I couldn't, so I'm now walking away from Africa Parks. I'm walking away from an organisation that clearly treats people so terribly. No, he's still there. So it's funny how he's walking away from Sentebale, the one that's supposed to mean so much to him because of the connection with his mother, and he's walked away. Now I tell you why he's walked away. He's walked away because he's come against a wall, and that is Dr. Sophie. She's just like, no, you're not going to be using this for your own gain. You're not going to be using these people and act like you care, but you don't care. You're not going to be messing around with the money and the donations, etc., etc. No. You're not going to be doing any of that. And I am going to stand firm here in front of you, and I'm going to stop you. Hence why they tried to get rid of her, and she fought for her place back. She cares about the people. She cares about Sentebale. And so she has been a wall right there in front of Harry and his little minions who are kind of, oh, we're leaving as well. You know what? Great, go. Because Sentebale doesn't need you. You are not a good role model for an organisation like Sentebale, a charity like Sentebale, who doesn't care about the people. If you wanted to help, you could have done, but you did nothing. And the fact that this is proof where he says basically he's been twice since marrying Meghan, and the last one was October last year. So he doesn't care. So this whole thing that he's come out with, I'm so devastated, this means so much to me and I can't believe this has happened. Well, if it meant so much to you, Harry, how comes you've only been twice? How comes you've done nothing to fight? You literally, the first chance, you walk away. I think it's because, like I say, you did not realise that someone like Sophie was not going to pander to you. This whole thing of I'm a prince and people have got to do what I say or do what, and follow my lead. No. People are now saying, no, we don't care that you're a prince. We don't care that you are who you say you are. If you're behaving appallingly, I'm going to call you out on that. And this is what more people should be doing. Not just going, oh my gosh, but it's Prince Harry and we really shouldn't be saying anything. No, you should be. You should be calling them out, because the only way, maybe, if Harry will learn, and that's a big if, is if more people call him out and say, you're not behaving in a very nice way. You are needing to stop this now. This is not okay. And we're not going to be okay with this. We're not going to collude in this and condone this behaviour from you. And perhaps if the royal family had done more of this, instead of shipping him off to the army or trying to give him Invictus, because that's another one that he uses and his wife uses. And I think that's appalling. And all the other things. Instead of actually saying, you know what, you need to grow up, Harry. You need to grow up and you need to sort yourself out. And this is what I feel they're potentially doing now. But in a way, it's too little too late. But by now showing Harry consequences, this is now, you cannot treat us as a family the way you both have done and then expect to be rewarded for it. You know, we're cutting you off. This is done. And because Harry has had protection the whole time, because Harry has always had his family there colluding and mollycoddling him and making it all better for him every time he messes up, now he hasn't got that anymore and he doesn't know what to do with that. Now he's like, I'm on my own. I've got a wife who is literally just running rings around me and I'm probably terrified of. And my family don't want to know. My friends don't want to know. So I've got nobody in my inner circle that I can really trust. And that's all his own doing. He's only got himself to blame. Not that he will see it that way. Hence why we're now having this anger at his family. But that's because his family have always done everything, picked up the pieces. And now they're not. And this is why I've said before in other videos, I think this is what the apology is for. I want an apology from my family. I think it's because he feels that he's been poorly treated by his family. He doesn't look at this and think, well, I've done this, so I deserve this. In his mind, he's like, well, they've always allowed me to do this before. They've always been okay with it. And now they're not. And he doesn't know how to deal with that. And this is why I feel that he wants the IPP status back. It's got nothing to do with him feeling safe, because in all fairness, there was no issues before he left. There was no issues when Meghan was even over here. I think it's because he knows the truth about the children. He knows that this family also know the truth about the children, but he also has so many skeletons in the closet that he doesn't want that coming out. He misses that royal command that he felt that he had before walking away from the work, being a working royal. He misses that. Meghan, of course, didn't have it, but she would want it, because to her, then that would make her so much more important, and that's all she craves. If Meghan becomes successful, she will walk away from Harry. The reason she hasn't right now is because she hasn't become successful. I don't know if I think she ever will, but I think that there is an element where she can reel Harry back in. I do feel that she's got him on like a bungee cord. And a lot of this is very true with narcissists. If you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, you know that they can be so mean and cruel and nasty, and then flip that switch and be charming and loving. And that's the side you home in on, and that's the side that's addictive, and that's how they can reel you back in. Like I've said, I don't think they're living together, but I think that they do come together, and she's also using Harry for positive PR. Hence why when he puts out articles of like, I'm so proud of my wife. Please. You know, and this could potentially be the version where, you know, he's trying to suck up to her again. You know, Harry is floundering. And so the only person that he has got, even if it's someone that's abusive, and doesn't love him, is his wife. And the unfortunate thing with that, and a lot of people have been in that situation when they've been alienated from everybody, is that because this is the only person they've got, they keep gravitating back to that person. And I do think that Harry has an element of that within himself. He gravitates back to her on occasion, which is why sometimes when we see them and she's her charming, lovely self, even albeit it's fake, he will like that version of her. So this is what it's all over the place. But as I've said before, I don't feel they're living together anyway. But yeah, so this to me, in regards to the Sentebale charity, is very, very true to form. I think Harry is, like I've said before, has always been this way. It's just that now the veil has been lifted and we are now seeing the truth of his behavior. But the fact that he's using this charity to act as if he's so devastated, the fact that he's using his mother's death again, is shocking. And again, using this in the court case, like setting up the fake person to come in and he's like, and being ushered out of the court dramatically, using his mother again. You know, it's appalling, in my opinion, the way that nothing is being said and done. Now, of course, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There are rumours and things circulating that when William becomes king, that he will be removing them. So Will that happen? I don't know. I hope so. I do feel that William is tougher than King Charles. I'm not saying that I do feel that King Charles is a weaker man. I know that some people feel that he is, but I do think that we've got to remember that he is, what, 70 something years old, that he is probably exhausted, got serious health issues. And the only reason I feel that when we're seeing posts coming out of Harry wanting to make amends with William, this will have nothing to do with the fact that he misses his brother. I think he misses an element of his brother, but it'll be nothing to do with that. It'll be because he knows within probably the next few years that William is going to become King William and Catherine is going to be Queen Catherine. So this is why he wants back in. I do feel that. I feel that he wants to curry some favour with the royal family. Not necessarily come back as a working royal, but he certainly wants to curry favour with them, and he wants to make sure that that connection isn't severed, so he loses absolutely everything. Meghan, on the other hand, I think is a little bit different, because I think as much as she loves all the connection with the royal family, she will never ever come back to the UK. She will never ever come back as a working royal, thank goodness. But I also think for her, one of her biggest things is she's trying to undermine the royal family. I've seen some things on her Instagram which is proving that. So I'm going to do a video on that in my next video, where I'm going to showcase and tell you what I really feel is going on here, and why I really feel that she's digging and goading at the royal family. But let me know what you think in the comments, guys. As always, I love to read them. Thank you so much, as always, for the support and the generosity, just in everything, the way you support me, whether just liking, subscribing, watching the videos, sharing the videos, writing the lovely things in the comments that I read. I really feel that we have one of the best communities here, where it's just not hateful, and I mean, I do try to get through as many comments as I possibly can, but as the channel grows, it's not always conceivably possible, but I do try to make sure that no one is bullying somebody here. And I think that because of that, we have such a lovely community, and it means a great deal to me. So thank you to everyone who has bought me things on my Amazon wish list, or bought Arthur little treats. He's very thankful for that and gobbles them up. Thank you to everyone who's treated me to a cup of tea. I really do appreciate you. And everyone, just everything that you are doing, no matter whatever it is, in any capacity, to support the channel, to keep it going, because I feel it's important. I do. And I'm not just saying that because of me running the channel, but it's the fact that it's important to keep the truth out there, to filter through the lies and the clickbait and all the other things that the mainstream media are putting out there about those two. If we didn't have these channels, that's all you'd be left with. So, remember that, because I do sometimes see some comments where people say things like, I'm not watching this, I'm sick and tired of them. I get it. I really, really do. But please just remember that if people stop watching these type of channels, then all you're going to be left with, Meghan's not going to stop with the mainstream media because my channel goes down. But that's all you're going to be left with. You're going to be left with her lies, Harry's lies of other celebrities even. So it's important that we call these people out. And that's why I always try to show you evidence of something, or talk about how I come to that. If I haven't responded to something, it's because I cannot find any evidence of it. I'm not saying that it's not happened. It's just that if I've got nothing to go on, then nothing I can say in regards to that. But yeah, so that's it from me. All of the links that you will need in the description box for everything. There's also links above the subscribe button. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, whatever you are doing. Of course, for some of us, it's Easter Sunday. And yeah, I will be eating chocolate, because to me, that's part of Easter. As much as I celebrate it, I do love my Easter eggs. And I'm yummy. So I will be eating those. I'll be spending time with my family. So whatever it is that you're doing, have a wonderful time, relaxed, I hope. And I will see you next week, as always. And I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.